you are meant to live an extraordinary life now. I'm saying now because you've moved into a different part of your life because the world has moved into a different place, and that's why it looks the way that it does. You might have felt that something was happening within you, something different was changing within you because you saw it in the world and you thought it was just out there, but I'm saying it's within you. Because, see, the world is changing now so that you can become magnificent, so that you can become who you're supposed to be in this world, so that you could live this wonderful life and create something so that you leave this legacy that the world will say, you existed, you lived. And that will not make sense to you because you probably don't believe it. I didn't believe it either, except I know that it's true now. And at 74, I can tell you it's true, and I'm going to give you help so that you know it's true because that's what my life was. My life was meant to move through whatever I did to bring something to this world to give to you so that we have a better world. I didn't accept that, didn't believe it, because I had that dream like you did. I had a dream in 2005 that said that's what I was meant to do. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I was supposed to bring something in that was going to help the world, that was going to help people understand who they are, and that's what I was going to do. And I said, that doesn't make sense. I screwed up everything. Everything was wrong. I did all this terrible stuff. That couldn't have happened. Except what I did for 35 years was I understood it all. And I sat down and I wrote it down so that I could give it to you. And I just have to say that's what it is, because I sat down yesterday and I wrote something. You might have seen it. I said, what do you do when you discover, because I didn't know, but then I discovered that I had something that could change the world. And then I thought about Zig Ziglar. Remember? Zig Ziglar, who everyone listened to. And he said, if you give enough, to have everything you want, just give enough people everything they want. And I said, well, I have that. Because every person wants to know who they are. They want to know their life purpose. They want to move beyond the trauma that they've had. They want to move beyond the doubts and the fear and the judgments and everything that has been within them. And if they can move beyond that, they will have this really extraordinary life. And if anyone could do that, then they could give it to others. I did that. That's why I'm giving it to you. And so today I've done this over the last several days because I'm making changes because I have to finish like you do. Meaning we're always in the process of taking that next level or becoming who we could be. There's no limits to what any of us could become except it's in our thinking. And that thinking gets developed over time throughout our civilization. And there are certain individuals who will come into the world and bring new information so that we can live better lives. And I was one of those individuals. But I couldn't have told you because I had to live it first, and then I had to have the proof of it. And all the proof just showed up. It's shown up over the last several years. So I want you to know there are no limits to what you can do. Everything that was wrong from birth that I had, in terms of physical illness and everything else, they're healed. And everyone is trying to figure out, how did that happen? It was because I sat every single day and worked on it. I downloaded information from Wilhelm. Didn't make sense to me either. But now you're going to understand it because you have the same thing. There's something within you that's probably being awakened right now because the energies that change cause you to think about yourself in a new way. And I'm saying to all of you, because I know you can achieve anything because I've done it. We just needed a plan. And Wilhelm gave me a plan. And as you go through these messages, you'll see what I'm talking about. And you'll even see where I'm called out. Because the messages are very, very honest. Every time I didn't believe myself, and that was most of my life, and I saw that every terrible thing that happened was because I was resisting going to that next level of who I was supposed to be. I was resisting change. And that's what's happening in our world, because the world is trying to change as well. And there will be some of us who will say, no, we have to stay with what we've known, because that seems okay. And we don't want anything new. We don't want new people coming in. We don't want to accept anyone else. And then God said, well, wait a minute, isn't everyone supposed to be accepted? And you have to look at yourself, and then the hypocrisy starts to show up. I said, oh, I didn't know that. I was told I was supposed to be worthy and have everything, but why am I not doing that? Well, part of it is that you were trained to do something else. And that's the consciousness, and that's the collective consciousness that has existed within all of us. And then I come along and they say, well, we want you to come in and bring in some new information. Maybe everyone should be accepted. Maybe everyone should be okay. Maybe every human has value. Because if you start looking at people as being souls, you no longer see bodies. Then you're operating with energy. Energy is what creates everything. There's nothing else than that. And then you start to learn that energy has qualities. And if you're using the qualities of light and love of yourself, then you're having this really great life and you're putting that into the world. But if you're still going to hold on to the old stuff and use hatred and anger and judgment and fear, then you're going to still have the old life and put that into the world. That's science. That's what we've discovered also, is that science creates our lives and the world. We just are figuring out how to do that. My entire life was figuring out how to do it. And the thing that you discover is that when you become aligned with who you are, you heal as well. Now, we think that there are accidental things happening. There aren't. There's an alignment that happens in the world, in the universe, and it's all energy. Sometimes we figure it out. Other people have done that. I wrote an article several years ago about Carl Jung because he talked about synchronicity. I didn't understand it, except I was living it and writing it and didn't know it. You don't know what you have either, but you're going to know a lot more after you have this because I want you to have it. Let me show it to you. So, let me first of all say this. It's January 10th right now as I'm recording this because I receive information beforehand and I'm guided as to what to do, and then it just shows up in the world at the right time, and so I know it's going to land with you when you're meant to hear it as well. But the very first message, here you are, January 11th, 2025. You are meant to live an extraordinary life. We have given you a guide to enable you to do so during your restructuring. Many of you still held disbelief, as did our messenger, but today you'll discover more of how truly extraordinary you are and were meant to become. There is order in your universe. You have a divine plan, and our guide helps you realize it much sooner than you could imagine. Okay, I'm just going to say this was pretty surprising to me because I just followed that intuition. They said, go back to 2008. Those of you who follow astrology or changes, you will know that was another energetic time, a change in our planets that would affect us all emotionally, and it's coming to a completion now. Even if you don't understand that, it doesn't matter. But the messages here will help you because the only place that we experience ourselves is in consciousness. And I believe that we're all connected to the same consciousness. We all have that, which is what Willem says, which is why there's no separation in humans. We just made them up. And so as you go through each one, you'll see that it's a progression that you have moved through in your life. It's also a progression that we move through in collective consciousness, meaning what we can all accept, what is permissible. And we're at a stage now where we're meant to change that. Well, we always are. This is just a little more of a dynamic time in our world, which all of it can be explained, and I've laid it all out because I've done videos to give you all this information. But today I want you to have this because it's going to give you so much you can't even understand. But again, I didn't believe myself because we were going through this in my group this morning, but I'm just going to talk about it. All of this will be published later. What I did, and I had no clue this was happening, but I was connected to the energies shifting in our universe, and that's how I got this information. And certain days, there are times where there's an alignment. I don't know, I'm just doing it. But what happened, obviously, for me to have lived my life and to healed every single thing that went on, I was connecting to that universal consciousness over all of these years. And so it will change, of course, and now you're meant to do the same thing, and whatever your thing is going to be. However, I gave you something else. Whether or not you believe in astrology or any of that stuff, there are scientific things that you can understand. So I did a little search. Because when I am told to put messages together in one day, I know it's going to come to some conclusion. And this is what I just did artificial intelligence, and this is what came up. On January 11th, 2025, because I wanted to know about that, a significant astrological event occurs. Now, see, I'm asking the question because I felt the energy, and so I knew. And this is what happened every single morning when I would receive information. But as you will move through this, you will see that there was a connection to every single message depending on what year it was. I couldn't have known that. You don't know what you have. It gets developed. None of us know as humans in any particular time what can be developed because it's within us and we got to take the steps and do it. And at times that's incredibly scary because the thing that we will fear the most is ourselves. We will fear what we can accomplish. I mean, I knew. I said, and this is, I'm not making anything up. You can read this because there's a video out there I did 3 years ago. I said, I could become a billionaire now. And the other day I said, wow, I'm going to be richer than Elon. Because eventually, when this takes off and everybody uses it, and they're going to see how wonderful and valuable it is, I will have the billions. Because if you have, as Zig Ziglar said, if you have something that can give everybody what they want, then you're going to have everything you want. Well, I'm going to believe that. Because I have something that can have you live your best life and an extraordinary life, and that I know. There's no one can tell me anything different now because it's all in consciousness and you're a human person. So I do know that. And so I didn't trust it either, just like you don't trust yourself. But there was an awareness that came to me in December of 2018. And so I sat and I wrote myself a check for $10 million. Because you have to place things into your head about what you want to manifest for it to come about. I just read that from Zig Ziglar as well. And so then I went back later. I said, what was the message that Wilhelm gave me on that date? And it was surprising. I didn't make the connection, but I made the connection now because it's what my entire life was about and what I wanted to give you. That's why I lived, was to give you this message, and that's why I'm going to have the money, and that's why Zig Ziglar said, if I did this, I would have it all. But let me show you the message. You know those times where you're hearing something? It's that intuition, you're hearing and you're like fighting against yourself. You're not going to believe that. You're not going to look at it. You just walk away from it. Yeah, I was trying to do that. I tried to do that all the time. But Wilhelm doesn't always allow me to get away with it. You never get away with it either. You just think you do. Here it is, December 8th, 2018. While Roger finds writing this message somewhat difficult for him, he also knows it will help all of you who choose to accept its wisdom. Several months ago, Roger discovered a dream he had written in 2005. The discovery of this writing seemed mysterious to him, but now it makes sense. He could not believe what he had written until now. While you all have dreams of varying natures and degrees, but because they are personal to you, you have difficulty believing what you are receiving or the validity of the dream itself. We have asked Roger to transcribe what he received, and those of you who are intended to receive its content will do so. And this was August 2005, 4:30 in the morning, my wonderful time. The appearance of this dream was there were several spiritual leaders of sorts in a group, in a circle, and we were asked who would do something. And I ran forward. It seemed I volunteered, while at the same time thinking, why did it need to be me? I seem to be in a conflict of whether or not I will continue to listen and be open without the pain, or will I go back to my old ways, which was sort of the indication with me seeing an old friend yesterday. I ask for guidance and clarity. There is still a part of me that thinks the experience isn't real on some level, and I could put it away, while a stronger part knows that is not the case. And that is not the case. I attempted to hide it, just like you did. We hide stuff because we don't think we can do it. That's the only thing that goes wrong. And then if we hide it, then we don't have to look at it or do it. I'm telling you, you have something you're meant to do. I know that. That's the other gift I developed where I could intuitively read. That's why I started doing more channeling in private sessions. However, All I'm saying is that you have everything within you to live an extraordinary life, but it has become more important for you to do that. Because we're going to go through more changes. The changes are all energetic, and everybody's stuff comes up. That means your anger, your all the old stuff, to change it. That's what that message was saying. We just get afraid we're going to go back to our old ways, the ways of living or being in ourselves individually or in the world. That's what we're trying to change now, is more acceptance. See, I was told that if we could accept ourselves, and you think about this concept, we're all humans, but we've made divisions forever, over eons. Wilhelm loves using that so we can think about it in a different way, but that's what we've done. And then we get to a place where things just kind of blow up because we're unwilling to accept the human. That's us. That's our soul. And then to tell me I'm meant to bring something in like that, and I'm supposed to be love, because that was the message I kept putting away as well. Oh, you came to the world to be love. Because see, love is far more powerful than anything else. And I said, I couldn't possibly do that. But then they pointed out that's how I healed. That's how you heal. That's how we can all heal. And that's why I am giving you this. You can do anything, and I know it. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel if it's your first time, and please share this with everyone because I'd love more energy to become uplifted. See you soon.